Welcome to the Black Women Will Say Black Women podcast, the podcast where we support, amplify, validate, and elevate Black women always. I'm your host, Kamika Dillard, and this is our sanctuary, a space built on the belief that when Black women show up for each other, we don't just survive, we save. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement, so let's get into it. In this week's Fail Forward Files, if you do not know, I am a woo woo girl. I talk a lot about being a woo woo girl. I believe in all the things. Okay, we're going to talk about my star sign, my sun sign, my moon sign, all the things. Aries sun, Sagittarius moon, Virgo rising. I believe in Reiki. I believe in the spirits. We're going to go get our cards read. If you're one of my homegirls, we're going to do all the things. So in 2025, which was the year of the snake, Chinese New Year, I actually created my first coaching cohort centered around the year of the snake because one, people were already feeling defeated because New Year had came around and it hadn't even like completed any type of goal. We're already off track. The beauty of the Chinese New Year is that it does not start at the top of the new year in January. It starts in February. So if you know anything about this very specific year, the year of the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac is all about wisdom, intuition, transformation, and subtle power. It symbolizes intelligence, mystery, and the ability to shed old habits for renewal. People born in snake years are often seen as insightful, strategic, and resilient. So, when I created the cohort at the beginning of the year, I had no clue that I was going to be shedding some of my old skin. I had no clue that my job was going to be eliminated. I'm sure a lot of folks did not know this was going to happen, but I just was so reflective towards the end of this year around, or the end of 2025, around how transformative 2025 has been for me. We've done a lot of shedding, transforming this year. And like snakes, I have been moving in silence, moving strategically, and moving with purpose. I knew that this year would be challenging, and it took me reflecting on the end of the year to recognize how powerful this year has been for me. So, from rolling around on the floor post my layoff, like I always share, I'm really beginning to think that everything that's happened that happened in 2025 was purposeful for me getting to the next level. So as you think about all the shedding that you have done during the snake year, I want you to get really excited about the next Chinese New Year, which is the fire horse year. It's the year of the horse, but it is very specifically the fire horse year. So if you are interested in hitting the ground running on February 17th, which is the start of the fire horse New Year, please go to S.A.V.E.coaching.com, sign up for my DOT Fire Horse cohort. That's a mouthful. Fire Horse year cohort. Space is going to be super limited. I'm probably only going to take about 12 people for this specific cohort, but I promise you that in 30 days, you will have a path forward to kick 2026 in the nuts. I'm just going to say it that way. And really hit the ground running with Fire Horse Year. So if you're interested, visit failforwardcoaching.com for more information. All right. That is my fail forward file for the week tip. Let's get into this week's guest, Lakshmia Marie. Super excited to have my good sis on. She is a seasoned consultant with 15 plus years of experience building and scaling companies. Following a transition in late 2024, she leveraged her deep operational expertise to launch Refurb Consulting, where she serves as a fractional consultant. She specializes in helping B2B service or SaaS companies solve critical growth and retention problems, focusing on strategies that deliver immediate, measurable results and sustainable profitability. Let's welcome to the sanctuary this week, Lakshmia. Hey, girl.
Hey, hello everyone.
How's it going?
It is going very well.
How's your holidays been?
It's been good, very busy, which is really good for me.
I love it. I love us being busy even during this chaotic season. So, I'm excited for you to share your story. If you don't know, let me put it this way: if you are not familiar with the word fractional CEO, fractional CFO, that has been flying around LinkedIn. My girl is going to really break it down for you, but I want us to first hear about how she got here in the first place. So, tell us what happened with your job loss.
Well, my background is interesting. Like I typically work with startups. The thing is with startups, there's an inevitable ability potentially that things may fail, right? And that is a risk that you should know going into a startup world. This time the risk was a little bit different because I was like, oh, this company seems more established because it had been around for like 10 years. So I expected, most of the kinks to be out. Well, no, never expect things like that when someone is still calling themselves a startup. Let's just say that. So with my job loss, um, I was very much thrown off because we had just came off one of the most profitable quarters that the company had ever had. And a lot of it came from my strategy. So I'm like, how are we exceeding benchmarks and goals? And now we don't have a marketing department or a product department. Because when I got laid off, several people that made up those areas also got laid off. And I was kind of in shock because like it was kind of around the holidays, which we're not even gonna get into how messed up that is. But I was just like, hmm, I kind of knew there was a risk with this, but not in this way. You know what I'm saying? And so when I found this out, I didn't panic. I didn't do any of that. I took 2 weeks and I played games. I went straight into the Sims world. I literally played video games. I rested. I did all the things that people don't normally do when they get laid off. Because I'm like, it's at the end of the year. The new year's around the corner. Like, there's only so much I could do with this information. I'm not about to stress myself out. I'm just going to actually do something I haven't done in a while, and that's to actually rest. I took that literally. Like, I pretty much transformed to my 16-year-old self if I had some money and did all the things that I wanted to do at that age. I did it for like the last 2.5 weeks of the year. And I think that was the smartest thing I've ever done, like as an adult. Like instead of like panicking, which is a valid feeling, and let's not negate that. I just needed to rest. I just needed to sit down and not have to think about what my next move was. Because quite frankly, at that moment, I didn't care.
I think that's a common theme that our listeners have been hearing from all the guests, with the
Hmm.
exception of, I think, one, where people, when they found out the news, they said, I'm going to rest. I'm going to
Hmm.
take this good vacation. I'm going to
Yep.
go ahead and finish getting married. We're going to keep moving around and as if the world is still functioning, even though I don't have a
Yep.
job. So I love that not only did you rest, you leaned into playing video games. So you're a gamer.
Hmm.
What's our favorite console?
I am a Switch person. I've been a Nintendo girly my entire life. I've
Yep.
had almost every single Nintendo console that ever has been made. So I'm a Switch girly. So I have that and I have a gaming computer. So I play things like The Sims and other games like that on my computer as well. That's when I actually got it. I chose that time because like, you know what? I might as well get the computer. I've been delaying it. Might as well get it, set everything up, and just chill for 2 weeks.
Okay, so when those 2 weeks were up, what was our first move? So walk us through those like first 30 days post the holidays.
So the first 30 days, um, I got tired of being bored because like I just needed 2 weeks, honestly. And I was like, oh, I'm actually bored now. I need to go figure something else out to do. And I was like, what do I actually want to do this time? Do I want to go back into working on someone else's payroll? What do I want to do? So I entertained the idea of that for the first 30 days. I applied for jobs. I had interviews, and the interviews were horrible.
What was
Like
horrible?
the actual interviews, like one of the interviewers for a company I was interviewing with, he never turned on his camera. So I was speaking to pitch darkness the entire time, and he sounded like he had something else that he could have been doing. So
Mm,
I was just like, how about this? Since you seem so disinterested in filling this position, I'm going to go ahead and just end the interview myself. And when I say he was not prepared for that, he's like, wait, no, that's not what it is. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, if this is how you treat me, I can only imagine how you treat your customers.
mm.
So I dismissed him before he could dismiss me because I was like, I'm not going to be disrespected, period. And then some other roles, like after I heard about them, I was like, no, no, I don't want to do that. That sounds horrible. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it did not light me up. I was not excited. In fact, it petrified me. I was like, if this is what y'all are hiring for, I don't think I want to do that.
So what kind of
And
roles
so,
were you like looking for? So I forgot to like introduce you in terms of your background prior to your layoff. So what were you doing prior to your layoff, and then what type of roles were you looking for?
so I was a product manager um, for a cybersecurity company. So that's like SaaS, B2B, all that stuff. And the roles I was going for were pretty much identical, except for they weren't in cybersecurity. So they were like B2B SaaS or cybersecurity, not both. It was like kind of split into different categories. And um, I interviewed with some big companies. I don't want to name them because we don't give them free press,
Nope.
but bigger companies, some smaller startups that have been hounding me when I was working for my previous employer, and like cybersecurity companies that were expanding to the US. And so they sounded cool on the surface until I started talking to these folks. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. This does not sound like anything I want to do. It sounds worse than what I just came from. So, no.
Mm. And SaaS, FYI, everyone stands for software as a service. I started to say it in the intro, and then I was like, that's a tongue twister I'm not about to battle right now. But yeah, software as
That's
a
fair.
service. So we weren't interesting. Nothing was kind of like intriguing you from
No.
a employer or employee perspective. So then what was your next move?
My next move was to figure out if I were to go back out to give context. I've typically been a person that's had a job and a business. Or sometimes, like if I get annoyed with my business, I will close it or put it on pause and then go get a job. Or if I'm annoyed with my job, I will just quit the job and go back to my business. And so this time I didn't do that. I actually only worked the job just to see what that experience was. And yeah, I'm not doing that no more. So that doesn't work for somebody like myself. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, do I want to do this? Like, do I want to go through 50, 11 interviews? No. I was like, I could just consult because then I don't have to worry about 50, 11 interviews and I can get paid more. And I was like, oh, I got myself excited. I was like, wait a minute, I can make more money. Hold on. Why not do the thing that'll make me more money and give me more freedom for myself?
Hmm.
Because I got tired, and I'm going to be transparent since I'm not looking for a job. I got tired of fake caring about these companies and their missions. Like, I stopped. I was like, wow, I don't actually care about this. Um, and like, but as a consultant, I'm like, I can still not care, still get the job done. Y'all will respect me more, and then I can keep it pushing. I realized I got more respect and more money as a consultant versus being on somebody's W-2.
Interesting.
I know a lot of people said the reverse, but I'm like, in my own experience, as long as I've been doing it, I've been treated way better as a consultant or even a contractor than a regular old decorator employee. And I have nothing against that, but I don't want to be disrespected. I just don't. So me pursuing the consulting route seemed better because the opportunity fell into my lap right after I literally said it. I was like, let me see if I can just go ahead and consult. And then a friend of mine reached out to me and was like, so listen, I'm building a platform for like podcasting and things like that. Everybody told me I should come talk to you. Is this something you're up for? And I'm like, yeah, I have the background, might as well. And that I'm like, I took that as a sign because I'm like, it literally fell into my lap. I didn't tell nobody. I just said it literally out loud to myself. And the opportunity fell into my lap.
And the universe was listening. So not just to yourself,
Very much.
sis. Okay. Words have power. We'll keep that in
Very
mind.
much.
Yes. So you took that first consulting gig on. So we always talk about money here on the show. How much was that first consulting gig?
It was $50,000 paid out over the course of 5 months.
So essentially $10,000 a month.
Hmm.
And you got it how soon after that layoff?
I want to say like a little bit over a month because I was dragging my feet a bit.
Okay. So we waited to after the holidays. A $50,000 opportunity dropped into your lap. And then based on that opportunity, what did you decide to do?
I decided to go into the fractional space.
So let's explain to people, what does fractional work mean?
So fractional work is essentially you get someone that is usually an executive level of whatever the genre is, for a part-time, like for a part-time fee. So if you're looking for someone like a part-time CMO, you're more likely looking for a fractional person. So they'll come in for a set amount of time, usually 90 days, and then month to month after that for most folks, to set up or create one particular thing. So if that is setting up a marketing strategy if you're a CMO, or pushing through a product launch for a CPO, Chief Product Officer, there or like even doing an audit for a company as CFO. Like that is literally what fractional work is. So these are typically people who have at least 10 years of experience, in their chosen flavor. And they decided to, be like, look, I'd rather be a part-time executive for you and a couple of other companies instead of fully committing to, a large salary and a large time commitment just working for one company. So it does save money, even if it looks like if you're paying a lot more upfront. It's usually cheaper than having a full-time person. So a lot of startups use that. Even a lot of small and medium-sized businesses are also transitioning to that to test the waters. Maybe they need somebody who can bridge, build in a foundation, and then they can hire someone later on full-time to take that to the next step. So it's different ways of being fractional. There are fractional HR folks, there are fractional people, folks, fractional marketers, fractional product, pretty much any genre of business, there's a fractional support of some sort for you in that way.
And what I want to just kind of emphasize for the audience, because a lot of people probably not have not heard about this unless you are really in the tech space,
Yeah.
which myself, Lakshmia, we that's the space that we were in. We've worked for startups before, and this is really for like experienced people, because I don't want
Yes.
no Gen Zer listening to the podcast thinking you about to come in and do fractional CFO CEO work. It don't work like that, sis. I'm just being
Yeah.
honest with you. These are more experience. We got years, decades underneath our belt of experience, and we are able to come in and contribute to a company for a short period of time. And what I like about fractional work, and I was so intrigued when you shared this with me, because it's something that a couple of my other girlfriends who got laid off from the tech company, we don't say whose name it was, who let a lot of us go in July and May and March of 2025. Um, they are really exploring that and finding a lot of success with that on their own terms. So it is a very exciting time for fractional work from that perspective. So, okay, so we decide to kind of approach this from a fractional workspace.
Yep. Because like I realized I could customize my schedule. I can choose how many clients I wanted to work with and how much I wanted to charge. Because I'm like, I don't want to make less than what I was making working at my job. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. So fractional is what, I decided on after a lot of conversations with mentors and just, my own research.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk about what the day-to-day life of you being a fractional contributor at these companies look like.
So essentially, I love that you said day to day. I don't talk to them every day.
Ooh,
Um, we are not that friendly, because time is money. So if I am working on a client day, I'm typically meeting with a department, maybe sales, product, marketing, because I do go to market strategy. So I typically have to talk to several departments and coordinate with them, usually for a main goal, maybe a product launch, a product revamp, something along those lines. And so I'm meeting with them, either training. I do a lot of training with my clients to make sure that I am setting them up for success, especially if we are installing new tech stacks and things like that. I don't believe in leaving them hanging. So I'm very much a trainer. I also run data. So like if we are doing campaigns or retargeting things, I also do a little bit of marketing as well. I check on that to see the progress and status of that, seeing if they're listening to me. It's like I can tell if you've been, messing with stuff after I asked you not to. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got that eye, so to speak. And so I'm usually meeting with a stakeholder after that. And if it's during like a go live, I am literally walking them through setting things up, testing environments, the whole shebang, because we want to make sure that the work that we're doing together works before we release anything out to the public. A lot of times when companies are bringing me in, it's because they've tried to release something and it did not go well. And they're trying to figure out, was it the marketing side? Was it the product piece? Was it the engineering side? What went wrong? Can you help us figure out what went wrong so we can fix that so that this is not a repeated issue? And my job is to pretty much be the inspector gadget all up in their business. And that's what I do.
I love it. How do you find fractional work? Because I know a lot of people are like, is it on LinkedIn? Do I like how do I find these opportunities?
Well, I don't gatekeep because the more the merrier in situations like this. So there is a couple websites too that you can use. So I'm gonna start with that. There's a website called fractionaljobs.io, and they literally list out fractional jobs in like finance, marketing, a whole bunch of different areas, and they update every week. So you can literally go on there to start, at least to get an idea of like who's looking for fractional work, right? Also LinkedIn, of course, but I don't sit there and just twiddle my thumbs. I go into the actual search bar and I go for looking for fractional, whatever, CMO, CPO, whatever, because a lot of people post it as a post versus a job. So I look through, I am nosy. I will read every post if I have to. And I typically get clients from that. They're like, where'd you come from? You don't want to know. Let's just say I found this. You don't want to know. I'm a professional detective. That's what I say to people. So those are the two main ways that I've actually done it. And also niche, Slack, and Discord communities.
Ooh, tell us more.
So I will plug one because it's actually one of the best ones I've actually done and been a part of. It's called Women in Revenue. And so if you have something related to revenue, marketing, operations, rev ops, things like that, um, they post jobs and fractional things in their Slack channel literally every day.
Mm.
Every day. Or they'll be like, hey, I am actually a person hiring for someone fractional. Who do you recommend? So they'll pull from this extended network. And I always throw my hat in the ring if I know something that I can do. I don't believe in limiting myself. And there's also one more website I forgot. It's called Business Talent Group. That's for a whole bunch of fractional and consulting work. They're global. So if you're looking to do stuff on a global scale, they highlight the US, Canada, the EU, and other countries as well. So if you're on your global kick, I definitely recommend that last website because it's going to tell you upfront where it is, if you have to go there, they pay your accommodations, all that stuff.
And don't worry, everyone. I'm going to make sure all these links, websites are in the episode description. So don't like pull over your car or like you don't have to pause the YouTube video because you guys are watching on YouTube to drive up these views to get this information. So let's talk additional numbers because I love that this is a different way for you to control your time, control your
Mhm.
money. How many hours a week do you work?
I don't work more than 30 hours a week.
Mm. Why?
So my question is, so that's going to be a layered answer, but I want to be very clear about it.
Okay.
I realized when I started consulting initially years and years ago, I was hourly because everybody said do hourly, right? And then I realized that what people would think would take me 8 hours, it would take me two. So I didn't want to punish myself for being efficient. And so I was like, wait a minute, they're not paying me because of like a menial task. They're paying me because of expertise. So what if I didn't charge them by the hour and I charged them a retainer? And so I charge by retainer. I don't do hourly anymore. I haven't done that in like at least 8 or 9 years. One mistake was plenty for me.
Mm.
Let's just say that. But again, I will say this, depending on what area you're in and whatever you're trying to do, hourly may be the norm. So again, results may vary depending on what you're doing. But for the stuff that I do, hourly is probably the worst thing you can do because you're going to be forced to track your time versus tracking your metrics, and the metrics are way more important than the hours. So I don't do more than 30 hours a week because I don't want to punish myself for actually knowing what I'm doing.
I know that's right. And I love the focus on impact versus productivity. Just
Yes.
because you are doing tasks does not mean you are doing impactful work. So that
Mm-hmm.
30 hours or the way you even charge your customers is more focused on the outcome versus us, are you going, are you doing such and such in this many hours? Like, we don't care about that. We care about what actually comes out as a result of your work. So I love that. So you work 30 hours a week. Now, you already told me this, but I want you to tell our audience, how much money do you make a year now?
Well, the numbers are about to change. But right now, I am comfortably sitting at 175. But I just introduced a package for what I'm doing that will cost $150,000 for 90 days. So the numbers will be changing. That's from, again, I can't stress this enough, experience, experience. You have to have some type of experience. Please do not be like fresh out of reading somebody's book and trying to do this.
Or
I
fresh off
cannot
of
stress that enough.
TikTok?
Oh my goodness. Yes. No, no.
No, no,
Like
no.
I've been doing this. I'm not new to this. I am true to this. So I'm trying to compete with SMBs, small, medium-sized businesses that typically target large consulting companies. And I'm still charging a fraction of what these companies are charging folks. But I also have results directly tied to their industry. So that's why I'm introducing this. And I do already have some interest in this as well. So that means I'm only taking on like 2 clients a quarter if we're doing this. So,
She like, let's make sure we understand the numbers, okay? Lakshmia just said that she is introducing a package that will be $150,000. Is that per quarter?
yes.
Per quarter, y'all. So for those who may not have been as proficient in math as some of the others, I am very proficient in math. There are 4 quarters in a year, okay? That is $600,000 a year for one client.
Mhm.
Don't sit here and tell me, guys, that there's no money out here. I promise you, as discouraging as this job market has been, I want you to hear this story and be encouraged that there is money, one, out here to be made, money out here for you to get paid. There are still companies out here paying folks,
Yep.
especially experienced Black women. Okay.
Hmm.
Do not be afraid to take a
Yes.
chance on yourself. I know we haven't wrapped up the episode, but I got so excited when I did our intake call about the possibilities of what this new age work could look like, especially in the age of AI, because guess what you don't need? You don't need a big team behind you to do this.
Mm-mm.
So, Lakshmi, how many people work for you now?
2. So it's myself and I have a business partner. However, I do plan on hiring 2 people next year. I need a project person, someone to manage my projects. I realize I'm not good at that, and I
Mm.
need to just accept that. Um, I'm not good at it.
It's okay. Listen, we have some project managers out here in the community that might be reaching out to you to get hired. So you don't have to be you, and I love that's another like kind of jewel that I want to focus on. You do not have to be good at everything to run a business.
No, you can. No, you do not.
You don't. I know what I'm good at. Shout out to MJ, because if you are have been on the podcast or listened or sent an email, you're probably talking to my assistant MJ, who helps keep me organized myself. So we focus on our strengths, and where we are weak, we get some help. So I want to make
Hmm.
sure, like, as Black women who are exploring entrepreneurship, trying to figure this out, you don't have to do this all alone, especially in the world that we live in right now with AI and all this other stuff. There's so many other resources to like lean into during this time to help you be successful. So just kind of keep that in mind. So, Lakshmi, you're hiring 2 people next year. What is your long-term plan with this? Have you thought about a long-term plan? I'm a long-term planning girl. I'm a 3 month, 6 month, 5 year out plan. I'm gonna have a plan on paper.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and I'm going to answer that too. So I'm a Cancer Sun, Leo Moon, and a Sag Rising.
Ooh,
So
lots of fire.
that might give you a little insight on my answer. Um, of course, I have a long-term plan. Yes, absolutely. Like I can't be that can't be my big three, and I have nothing. I'm just going off of vibes. There's a time and place for that, and that's not right now. So my long-term plan is to build this consulting company out to kind of compete with the big four a little bit because I believe that certain companies should be knocked down several pegs
Mm,
to make it equal for everybody else. So that's part of my long term. Let's call it what it is, a scheme. And my it's congruent with another goal I have. I plan on actually opening something that has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, but the connections and the clients I'm working with will help me get to that goal. And I say that because I'm someone who typically does two things. So having a consulting company and this large long-term plan, I'm just going to be a little vague with it. It's a store. That's all I'm going to say. It's a store.
okay.
It is a store that can help people, especially in times like this. If this time ever comes back up, I hope it doesn't. But if it does, we will be extremely prepared. And I want to be able to make both of my companies employee owned because I believe that that model needs to come back. We need to be able to actually share with folks instead of like, oh, I've made $27 million, but my employees can't afford to eat or heat up their houses. Like that's not what we're doing around here. Why would I perpetuate something that's going to harm the community?
Wait, you don't believe in hypercapitalism and becoming a billionaire at all cost?
I never saw one be Lex Luthor. No, no, you can make so much impact not being like that. So I want to bring back employee owned models because there are some companies that are like that. And I want people to actually have ownership in what they do and actually be compensated well for it instead of struggling or having to go to court to get their ideas back.
Mm, I love it. I love it and I'm excited about it. And I hope that I can like follow you along on this journey and maybe even get hired along on this journey because you know I got operational expertise too. I can be a fractional COO. So
Yes, you
yes,
can.
yes, and we already had a side conversation. We gonna don't worry, MJ gonna book us some time. We just been a little busy right now.
That's
Um,
fair.
but I love this. So tell us where we can, or tell us how you would like for the community to save you, support, amplify, validate, elevate.
So I have a side idea that's related to all of this. This is going to be news to you because I just finally did it. It's something I've been thinking about for like 6 years.
Oh,
I'm actually creating a virtual space for people who are like me, people who have different pursuits and want support in them. It's called the Virtual Social Club. So it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a virtual social club for entrepreneurs, may they be solo, long-term business owners, remote workers, or people who are just like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to freelance? Do I want like all that stuff? I'm here to support because I realize a lot of areas you have to be one thing, and if you go outside that line, people don't want to support you for some strange reason. Maybe it's because they can't comprehend. I don't know, but that's a them problem, not a me problem.
I know that's right.
And I want to create the change that I want to see. So that will be super helpful. Like it'll be on my LinkedIn, which I am fine with y'all sharing. I'll talk about a little bit more there because I think it's important. Like I want people to actually be supported instead of it being just in words. Like I want to support folks. I want to see your dreams grow. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you happy because if you're happy, that means you're bringing happiness into the world, and that means we can finally combat some of the foolishness that we are currently seeing. You need that support, like for real. It's something I wish I had a couple of years ago, to be honest with you. And I've been looking for it for a long time. And I've, done some Goldilocks stuff trying to figure out if I can fit in these spaces. It didn't work.
Mm.
None of it was just right. So I was like, "Ah, fine, I guess I'll create it."
Listen,
So
if you don't
that
see
would
it,
be,
create it. I love it.
it's true. And I looked for a long time to see, because like I never want to rip off somebody's idea. No, it didn't exist. And I was like, that's weird. I guess there's a space for me. And so I want people to feel and actually be supported. I want you to feel like I can talk about this and nobody's going to steal my idea because Can't nobody do it but me. I want people to feel supported and not being surrounded by just, well, you can't do that because blah, blah, blah. Who cares about them? Like, people should not be pushing their limited beliefs onto you if you have a goal or a vision that you want to attain, or if you just want to, like, just try something. People are so afraid of trying stuff because of like society. And I'm like, let me help you. Like, if you're like, I want to climb a mountain, all right, what we got to do? What do we need to do to get you on that mountain?
Shout out to Mount Everest climbers. It was a dream of mine, and then I watched too many documentaries, so we're not doing that anymore.
You
But
right.
I love
You
that.
right, because
I
the
love
same.
that. Yes, I love that. And that's kind of what I inspired me to create the space that I created with this podcast. Like, I wanted to create community with Black women specifically who have been saving so many other people. And oftentimes, like, we overlook saving the sister next to us.
Mm,
So I didn't see it. And if it was existing, I just didn't see it. So create the things you don't see and let's just see what
yeah.
happens. So I love this. I'm excited about your pursuits. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can literally find me on LinkedIn. My name is as literal as Lakshmia Marie. Like, I am the only person, because I look every week. I'm the only person with the spelling of my name. I'm the only person that pops up. If someone else pops up and they are not a Black woman, it is not I.
Because we got
It ain't
Lakshmi
me.
as our Indian sisters, the Lakshmias, but you're the only Black Lakshmia Marie.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. So only on LinkedIn, any place else?
Now, because I don't really post nowhere else right
Okay.
now. I'm a one platform at a time type of girly.
I love it.
Shout out to my my previous past as a social media manager. It scarred me a little bit.
I overstand on that. Well, thank you, Lakshmi. Uh, Thank you, Lakshmia, for coming on today and sharing all the exciting work that you're doing. I am very excited to follow along in your journey and what you plan to offer to the community and look forward to definitely tapping in really soon. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Awesome. So, for this week's Save strategy, we are going to talk about radical self belief. Radical self belief starts with self support. So, this week's SAVE strategy is focused on the S in SAVE, which is support. You got to support yourself, sis. You got to really like affirm what you are doing within yourself to yourself before you can even put it out to anyone else. And one way I like to encourage those like self belief, self supporting rituals is as corny as it sounds and as typical as you might hear, it is affirmations daily. It's also a journaling practice. I talk a lot about journaling practices on my Substack. Tune in, subscribe to Kamika T. Dillard Substack. But I really want you to think about, especially in this new year, especially as we enter into the fire horse Chinese New Year, how can you put together a self preservation ritual that will really, really feed your soul and feed yourself to the beliefs of yourself and your abilities? You can't expect this society to believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And I'm saying this as someone who, when I was laid off, my mother literally said to me, "Oh, so you don't have to work on with the job with the that company while you're on vacation. You can do your own thing." And I was just like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, yeah, you could just run your own businesses now. You have your own businesses. Just go ahead and focus on that." And my mother, and so did some of my girlfriends, line sisters, everyone believed in me so much. And I didn't believe in myself. But it wasn't until I really started believing in myself is when I started seeing radical change. So, my lesson to you, my save strategy to you this week is really think about how supporting yourself is refusing to abandon yourself even when doubt creeps in. So celebrate yourself, journal, affirm yourself on a daily basis. I do it about twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. But like knowing that you're supporting yourself is going to allow you to show up for others. So think about it, internalize it, and start doing it as part of your daily practice. Self support is love of self, okay? With that being said, we are out of here. This has been another wonderful week of Black Women Will Save Black Women. Remember, support, amplify, elevate, validate, elevate. That is how we save Black women. And never forget, Black women will save Black women. I'm your host, Kamika Dillard. We'll see you next week in the sanctuary. Thank you.